Howie Roseman made 3 trades today on Hawaii time. Now, granted, it is, as of recording this, it's 9:15 in Philadelphia. So it's only 3 o'clock here. He made 3 trades in one day. And one of their greatest strengths is having the GM run the roster is the emotional separation from the players. Yeah, I drafted you in the 4th round. I don't care. You're not good enough. See you later. And that's why when you watch them play over the last several years, when it works, it looks as good as any. That's why they've been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years, why they just won the last one. They're technically not favored. Somehow the Bills and the Ravens, who have never beat the Chiefs, are currently favored to win the Super Bowl. But why the Eagles are the NFC, favorite. But I think that's a huge, huge advantage. And let's face it, most of these GMs in the NFL don't have as much juice as you think they do just by their title. Why? Because the coach makes double or triple what they make. And it's just basic economics. When one guy makes $12 million and the other guy makes $4 million, when we're complaining and we're arguing, who do you think's going to have final say when they both look at the owner? The owner's going to go with the guy he's paying the most money. And I don't know how much Howie makes relative to Sirianni, and there's a chance it's because of Sirianni's job title. Even if Howie were to make $10 million a year, the highest paid GM, maybe Sirianni makes 11, but we know who's in charge. And Sirianni's no dummy. He lets Howie do that. And he doesn't argue about it because he knows it works. And I think it's a huge, huge advantage when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles. And you know why? I think we'd all be stunned. It would take a rash of injuries for them not to be in the NFC Championship game.
And then I do have Philly becoming the first team to repeat in the East since 2004.
Yeah.
I think for a Super Bowl champion, they have a chip on their shoulder. That's hard to have as a Super Bowl champion. And I think it is. Everybody's still questioning our quarterback. All right. Saquon Barkley, despite the great year last year, is still trying to establish his Hall of Fame credentials. The defense, like you said, Nick, they lost a lot of people. So they've got something to prove. You got new guys coming in there like, I got to make a name for myself. So I think that they are going to, and Sirianni is always seems to be 2 straight losses away from the hot seat. Yeah. All right. So they have a chip on their shoulder, and I think they're going to come out and play good football.
Hey, Eagles fans, what's up? It's your go-to source for all things birds. And oh man, do we have a blockbuster episode today. If you're as pumped as I am about the Philadelphia Eagles shaking things up right before roster cutdown day, smash that like button and subscribe right now. We're diving deep into the chaos that's got everyone buzzing. NFL roster cutdown is looming large. And Howie Roseman? That guy's on fire, pulling off a flurry of trades that's got the league in shock. We're talking major roster shakeups, intriguing new faces, and even a familiar offensive line hero returning home. But trust me, the birds aren't done yet. This could be the start of something epic. Stick around as I break it all down, predict our initial 53-man roster, and spill on that juicy superstar pass rusher rumor. Let's kick this off. And speaking of kicking off, let's talk about that season opener that's got us all on edge. All right, folks, we're just counting down the days until the Birds' 2025 season opener against those hated Dallas Cowboys on the 4th of September at Lincoln Financial Field. Prime time, 8:20 p.m. ET, under the lights. I've said it before and I'll shout it again. I am beyond excited to have real Eagles football back in our lives. You know the drill. My mental health, and probably yours too, is about to be tied to this team's every snap for the next 5 months. Who can relate? I can't wait to see this revamped squad hit the field and show what they're made of right out of the gate. But while we're hyped for kickoff, the Eagles have been dropping bombshells left and right to keep us glued to our screens. That brings us to the whirlwind of moves Howie Roseman unleashed this weekend. In the meantime, while we're all dreaming of that Cowboys demolition, the Birds have given us plenty of drama. Just this Sunday, the 24th of August, 2025, Howie Roseman didn't just make 1 or 2 trades. No. He went full throttle with 3 massive deals to reshape the roster ahead of final cuts. And let's be real, all of them are game changers. We're talking about bolstering the quarterback room, beefing up the offensive line with a Super Bowl champ returnee, and flipping another lineman for future assets. Plus, don't forget the John Mechie trade from last week. He's slotted as our WR4 now, just 1 injury away from major snaps. This has been a crazy month of wheeling and dealing, and the Eagles might not even be finished. But let's dissect these trades one by one, starting with the quarterback swap that has everyone talking. First up, That savvy move for a reliable backup. The action kicked off Sunday morning when the Eagles swapped a 2026 fifth-round pick and a 2027 seventh-rounder for Minnesota Vikings quarterback Sam Howell, plus a 2026 sixth-round pick in return. As I mentioned in my last video, this is a straight-up steal. Look, we already had Tanner McKee as backup to Jalen Hurts, but with McKee nursing that finger injury and no clear timeline for his return, you need rock-solid depth behind our star QB. If McKee isn't ready week 1, Sam Howell steps in as the primary backup over rookies like Kyle McCord or Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Howell's proven he can handle NFL heat. Back in 2023 with the Commanders, he started and threw for nearly 4,000 yards at a 63% completion rate, even if his TD to INT ratio was 1-to-1. Sure, he might have been on the Vikings cut list, but he's flashed serious potential. I'm way more confident in him starting a game than the alternatives. Speaking of which, DTR was the first cut Sunday afternoon. No shocker after his rough preseason showings, 0 snaps in the Jets finale. Then Monday, rookie Kyle McCord got waived too. Solid camp, but no room post-Howell. He could land on the practice squad though. Overall, A+ move by Howie to lock in QB insurance. But wait, that wasn't even the best trade of the day. Let's talk about the offensive line reunion that's got me grinning. If the Howell deal was smart, the next one was pure genius. The Eagles sent a 2026 seventh-round pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars for tackle Fred Johnson, the Super Bowl champ, who's now back in green. I absolutely love this. Back in March when Fred bolted to Jax in free agency, I was gutted. The Eagles could have easily re-signed him cheap, and last year he proved he's the ultimate swing tackle. Remember when Lane Johnson went down early, missing games including against the Bucs? Fred stepped up on the right side and dominated. Then Jordan Mailata's injury sidelined him for 4 games. Fred slid to left tackle and held it down beautifully. He's versatile, reliable, and if either star tackle gets hurt this year, I'm confident he'll shine again. Why let him go initially? Who knows? But Howie fixed it with this A+ trade. The offensive line just got deeper and tougher. Of course, to make room, they had to move on from another champ. Here's the flip side. Hot on the heels of Fred's return, the Birds traded another Super Bowl winning offensive lineman, tackle, guard Darian Kinnard to the Green Bay Packers for a 2027 sixth-round pick. First, big thanks to Kinnard. Part of our championship squad, solid depth last season. And what a story. 3 straight Super Bowls in his first 3 years. Rising from underdog to roster spot. But with Fred back, the O-line room was bursting. Kinnard was likely getting cut anyway, with slim odds of practice squad return. Smart play by Howie to snag a pick instead of losing him for nothing. Sunday was insane. 3 trades in 1 day? Unheard of. And with all this wheeling, the rumor mill is spinning wild. Could one more blockbuster be coming? You know the Eagles aren't done if the whispers are true. There's massive buzz about a last-minute trade for Cincinnati Bengals disgruntled superstar pass rusher, Trey Hendrickson. ESPN's Bill Barnwell recently dropped an article on 10 potential preseason trades, proposing the Eagles send young edge rusher Jalen Hunt, a 2026 third-round pick, and a conditional 2027 pick for Hendrickson. Citing our need for defensive line firepower after off-season losses and creative cap magic to pay him big. But hold up. Latest updates show the Bengals just resolved Hendrickson's contract beef, bumping his 2025 salary to a whopping $30 million, so he's staying put. Personally, I never thought it was realistic anyway. Next offseason, we've got mega extensions for Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith, then Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean the year after. Add our existing monster deals on a fence? Fitting Hendrickson's huge contract at age 30 throws everything off. Plus, I love Jalen Hunt. He's my breakout star pick for 2025, with legit superstar upside. No way we trade him for short-term help. This one's a no-go, but it sure got hearts racing. Shifting gears from rumors to reality, let's hit the cuts that have already dropped. Of course, with cutdown day hitting Tuesday at 4 p.m. ET, the Eagles are already trimming fat. As of 4:33 p.m., Monday, the 25th of August, 2025, here's the list. QBs Dorian Thompson, Robinson, and Kyle McCord, DB Lewis Sinney, OL Kenyon Green, TEJ Jenkins and Nick Muse, RBs Keeler Robinson, Montrell Johnson Jr., Shun Derek Powell, S. Maxon Hook, and the big one, CB Eli Ricks. Ricks made the roster the last 2 years post-undraft, but the corner room's stacked now. Notable cut, but hopefully PS bound. More coming soon, no doubt. All this sets the stage for my bold 53-man roster prediction. All right, here's my take on the Eagles' initial 53-man roster post-cutdown. I've crunched the numbers, weighed the debates, and this feels locked in. Starting at QB, Jalen Hurts, Tanner McKee, Sam Howell. No-brainer. RBs, Saquon Barkley, Will Shipley, A.J. Dillon, and fullback Ben Van Sumeren. WRs, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Jahan Dotson, John Mechie, Darius Cooper. Aeneas Smith might sneak in, but not in my projection. Dallas Goedert, Grant Calcaterra, Kylan Granson. Solid. Offensive line. Starters Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, Tyler Steen, Lane Johnson. Backups Fred Johnson, Matt Pryor. Rookies Drew Kendall, Miles Hinton, Cam New Orleans. All rookies make it here. Edge rushers, Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, Josh Sweat, Azizo Galari, Patrick Johnson, rookie Antoine Powell Ryland. DTs, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Moro Ojomo, Ty Robinson, Gabe Hall. Went with Ryland over Byron Young. LBs, Zach Baun, Jade Campbell, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Smile Munan Jr. CBs, Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Adoree Jackson, Keely Ringo, Jacon Bennett, M. McWilliams. Safeties, Reed Blankenship, Sidney Brown, Andrew Mukuba, Tristan McCollum. Special teams, Jake Elliott, Braden Mann, long snapper Charlie Hollett. That's my 53. Could be wrong, but it's stacked. For fun, let's peek at the practice squad and IR. Quick practice squad prediction. Kyle McCord, Montrell Johnson Jr., Aeneas Smith, Terrace Marshall Jr., E.J. Jenkins, Brett Toth, Kendall Lamb, Trevor Keegan, Holland Pierce, Byron Young, Agbo Arono, O'Shane Ximenez, Eli Ricks, Perry Nickerson, Andre Sam, Tariq Castro Fields, and international exemption Lakin Vakalahi. On IR, Nakobe Dean and Johnny Wilson. Drop your predictions in the comments. We'll all be wrong together. We'll see how it shakes tomorrow. And that's the wrap. But before you go, Eagles Nation, I'm locked in for every twist in the lead up to the season. Subscribe, hit notifications, and don't miss a beat. Drop a like if you're hyped, and check my video on 10 Eagles who crushed training camp right here. Thanks for watching. Fly Eagles fly. And I'll catch you next time.